You're an American citizen.
Yeah.
And you're being told you have to wait in line in the United States of America in favor of somebody who's not an American citizen, who crossed the border illegally, that is going to be treated better because it's a sanctuary city, that is LA, and a sanctuary state, that is California. How do you think that's going to vibe with most Americans? You can't have stuff like that happening and think that there's not going to be major noise and friction and polarization in the country when you let something like that happen.
America Key Politics ISS Whacked Coffee Heated Ho Chuki High, or Jab Media Ku Bade Nam Kud Apni Party Parsal Youthana Shuru Karden, to Samaj Lo Ku Situation Serious Ho Chuki High. Sports commentator or analyst Stephen A. Smith Eniek Bar for Democrats Partiki Tankid Ki High. Unka Kana Hai Ku Agar Policies AC Benayi Jayan Jahan American Citizens Ko Piche Rock Dia J or Illegal Migrants Ko Priority Milti Nazar A, to Naturally Public Reaction Strong Haga. Ye Surf Politics Nahi Baki Fairness Ka Saul Banjada High.
There is no way that that's going to fly. I think most Democrats know that. The problem is they've surrendered to the extreme progressive left because they're fearful that they will lose their power positions if they don't. I think that's what the problem is more so than anything else, and that's what's going on in our nation's capital.
Stephen A. Smith Eni Kaha Ku Agar Jishi American Citizen Ko Kaha J Ku AAP Line Mikari Raho Jap Koi Illegal Border Cross Karka Aya Hua Person Zayada Benefits Laraha Ho, Ti Cheese Axar Lagan Ko Gusa Daladi High. Unk Mutabik Ace Policy Society Me Friction or Polarization KO or Zayada Bar Hadid Hain. Jab Log Mrs. Cardi Hain Ko Unk Soth Unfair Treatment Ho Raha High, to Trust System Esi Cam Hon Lag Da High.
I think that there were 2 officers who were facing lacerations on their face.
All for prosecution of those who pelted them?
Look, I've seen the videos of this snowball fight. I think that it was a snowball fight.
A snowball fight or assaulting cops?
I think it's a combination of both. They're law enforcement. They're not engaging in a snowball fight with you. They don't want to be bothered. If they're law enforcement and that's not something that they were entertaining, then assault would be the way to go. Now, obviously, if you just hit them with some sort of snowball or whatever the case may be, I mean, you didn't harm them or anything. That's entirely different. So there's different levels of assault.
Debate tab or intense Hogai Jabek incident ka zikr hua jahan snowball fight kamazak serious situation mi badal gaya. New York Key Streets par log snowfall ka maza larahi thay, lekin kuch lagan any mazak mi police officers par snowballs fankna shuru kardia. Jab officers injured Hugh to discussion Shuru Hogai Kukia Yi Surf Mazak the Yafur law enforcement par assault.
The act is the act itself, and the law enforcement wasn't capitulating to that kind of situation. Then we have to take that into consideration, and if they felt it was assault, then damn it was assault, plain and simple. But once again, this is something that comes back to bite Mamdani because he wasn't considered the strongest supporter of the NYPD as he was running for office.
Stephen A. Smith NEISS issue par be clear stance dia. Unka Kana the Ku Agar police officers Jishi activity ka hissa nahi bana chat or furbi unpar cheesy and fenki jayan, to la kumutabik usi assault samjaja sak da hai. Chahi snowball hai ku na ho, Agar intention harm ya disrespect ka ho to situation serious banjadi hai.
When you listen to some of his rhetoric in the past, some of the things that he had said about the police didn't seem to be that keen on being supportive about them. I don't recall whether or not he was talking about defunding police, but I believe I believe he did say that. I believe he did say that. So because that's a reality, you know, when you see that kind of stuff, it sort of seems dismissive about concerns for law enforcement. And that is not a good position for him to be in, particularly when they're not getting raises or anything like that, because you don't have the money to take care of them, nor did you appear inclined to do so even if you did. So all of those things definitely work against him, and that's the kind of thing that can turn officers against you.
Is discussion Kudoran New York ku political leaders Parbisal at Hege. Critics ka Kana the Kuch politicians law enforcement ko proper support nahi deet. Jap police officers ko financial support ya raises tak mushkil se milt hain or fur unpar attacks ko lightly liya j, te officers ku morale ko affect karda high.
Did you see this AOC Mamdani video in Spanish?
Hola.
Mi español
no es el mejor.
No, no te preocupes, alcalde.
Okay, so they're talking about childcare for all, meaning illegals. So they are talking about illegals, number one. Now, we live in Miami. We're in Miami right now. I hear more Spanish than English outside of this studio basically all day long. So I don't have a problem with Spanish or Spanish speakers. However, speaking in another language while encouraging people who are not legal citizens to get city services, that seems a bit much for me.
ISI beach immigration or public services ka issue be debate ka hisaban gaya. Kuch politicians J's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez any childcare or social services J's programs ko expand karn ki bot ki. Critics ka kana haiku agar ye benefits undocumented migrants tak be extend kai jayan, to already stressed systems par or pressure pedega.
I can't knock that. What I would tell you is that if you're trying to cater to that particular audience, speaking their language doesn't hurt. So that's not a crime. You know, they're voted. There are folks in the Hispanic community that are voting, and when you talk in their language, it makes them a bit more receptive to you in terms of wanting to listen to what you have to say. And what parent doesn't want, you know, free preschool for 3-4 year olds, et cetera, et cetera. But I always harken back, and it's very important that I bring this up, because I remember when some people asked me, when you became so moderate, somewhat of a centrist per se, when did that happen for you? And I can't remember the year, but I remember when George W. Bush and Dick Cheney were in office. And I never forget, as long as I live, a reporter was talking to Dick Cheney, former Vice President of the United States, God rest his soul. He was talking to him about the polls were showing blah, 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 blah. He looked at the report and said, so?
Stephen A. Smith N.E. is point par thota balanced view bdia. Unhome kaha ku agar politicians jishi community ko address karn kuliya anki language mi bot kardi hain, J Spanish, te political strategy ho sakti high. America me Hispanic voters ek important voting block hain, or untak apna message pahanchana politics ka hisa hoda high.
And I was eating my cereal. I was like, what? What did he say? Because I had never seen a vice president do that before. The president, he said, so? And then he said, you didn't elect us to follow your lead. You elected us to lead, to do what we believe is in the best interest of this country. And that's exactly what we're doing. And then the reporter elaborated a little bit about something with Planned Parenthood and stuff like that. And she tried to accuse him of being against that. He said, I'm not against that at all. I'm against you asking the government to pay for it. And all of a sudden, it opened my eyes and reminded me what all of this is really, really about. Most people in this country have a live and let live attitude. Live your life, et cetera, et cetera. So what's the uproar about?
Fur unhone ek purani political memory share ki jaim Dick Cheney ka quote unhi yadaya. Cheney any kaha the co-leaders ko polls kupiche nahi chowna chahi, baki wo karna chahi jo country ku best interest mi ho. Yebat Stephen A. Kalier ek turning point ti jahan unhone politics ko ek different angle si dekna shurukia.
You're saying this is where your taxpayer dollars is going to. And when that happens, all of a sudden, that gives everybody the right to speak up and say, wait a damn minute here. How is that possible? I know of a young lady that's a friend of mine that got in a car accident in LA and literally needed to be treated, etc. And her bill was very, very exorbitant when she got treated at the emergency room and stuff like that. And she was trying to get on the phone, get some assistance, etc., etc. They literally told her, if you were a migrant, it would be easier to take care of you. But the problem is that you're an American citizen, so you have to wait in line. Yeah.
Unka kana haiku America mi zayada tar log live and let live philosophy par believe kardi hain. Log chat hain ku government basic systems ko fair or balanced rake. Jab citizens ko lagda haiku unk tax dollars ka use ace programs mi ho raha hai jahan unko cut struggle karna pad raha ho. To naturally frustration bar jadi high.
An American citizen. Yeah. And you're being told you have to wait in line in the United States of America in favor of somebody who's not an American citizen, who crossed the border illegally, that is going to be treated better because it's a sanctuary city, that is LA, and a sanctuary state, that is California.
And Stephen A. Smith any ek example share kia jahan ek American citizen ko hospital treatment kuliya heavy bill ka samna karna pada. Unka claim the ku system mi kabi AC perception ban jadi hai ka migrants kuliya assistance lina zayada easy hoda hai. Chahiyi perception accurate ho ya na ho, lekin public opinion par iska strong impact pat da high.
How do you think that's going to vibe with most Americans? I don't care what city you in. I don't care what state you in. Basically, what nation you're from. If you are a native of that country and you're being told you have to wait because they're favoring somebody who's not a native, who crossed the border illegally, you're going to have a problem with that, no matter who you are or where you're from. So understanding those kind of things is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about common sense.
ISI frustration KO capitalize Cardi Hugh Donald Trump any apni politics KO, America first message ku around build Kia. Ye message unvoters KO appeal Carta High Jomasus Cardi Hain ku globalization or immigration policies any unk interest KO Piche Cardia High.
You can't have stuff like that happening and think that there's not going to be major noise and friction and polarization in the country when you let something like that happen. There is no way that that's going to fly. I think most Democrats know that. The problem is they've surrendered to the extreme progressive left because they're fearful that they will lose their power positions if they don't. I think that's what the problem is more so than anything else, and that's what's going on in our nation's capital.
Akirmi Stephen A. Smith Ka Kana Haiku Agar Democrats future elections Jitna Chat Hain to Unhi moderate voters or independents KO Fur Se attract Karna Haga. Leadership Ka Matlab Surfek Group KO Kush Karna Nahi, Baki Poor Country Ku Interest KO Balance Karna High. Agar political parties public concerns KO ignore Cardi Rehan, to ballot box par Uska reaction zero or Dekni KO Malega.